The Danube is Europe's second longest river, after the Volga River, and also the longest river in the European Union region. It is located in Central and Eastern Europe. The Danube was once a long-standing frontier of the Roman Empire, and today flows through 10 countries. Originating in Germany, the Danube flows southeast for 2,860 kilometers, passing through or touching the border of Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, and Ukraine before emptying into the Black Sea. Its drainage basin extends into 9 more countries. Names and etymology. The Latin name Danuvius is one of a number of Old European river names derived from a Proto-Indo-European * Danu. Other river names from the same root include the Don, Donets, DZ Vina, Duna, Dnieper and Dniestr. In Rigvedic Sanskrit, Danu means fluid, drop. In Avestan, the same word means river. In the Rigveda, Danu once appears as the mother of Vrtra. It is possible that Danu in Scythian as in Avestan was a generic word for river. Dniepr and Dniestr, from Danapres and Danastius, are presumed to continue Scythian ** Danuapara, far river, and * Danu Nastia, near river, respectively. The Greek name of the Danube was Sigma Tau Rho Omicron Sigma, a borrowing from a Daco-Thracian name meaning strong, swift. In Latin, the Danube was variously known as Danubius, Danuvius or Resistor. The Dacian, Thracian name was Donorus, Donorus for the upper Danube and Istros for the lower Danube. The Thraco-Phrygian name was Matoas, the bringer of luck. The Latin name is masculine. German Donau is feminine, as it has been reinterpreted as containing the suffix ouwe, wetland. The modern languages spoken in the Danube basin all use names derived from Danuvius. German, Donau, Silesian, Dunaj, Upper Sorbian, Dunaj, Slovak, Dunaj, Hungarian, Duna, Serbo-Croatian, Dunav, Romanian, Dunaria, Romani, Dunaja, Bulgarian, Dunav, Ukrainian, Dunaj. Geography. Classified as an international waterway, it originates in the town of Donaueschingen, which is in the Black Forest of Germany, at the confluence of the rivers Brigach and Breg. The Danube then flows southeast for 1,914 kilometers, passing through 4 capital cities before emptying into the Black Sea via the Danube Delta in Romania and Ukraine. Once a long-standing frontier of the Roman Empire, the river passes through or touches the borders of 10 countries: Romania, Hungary, Serbia, Austria, Germany, Bulgaria, Slovakia, Croatia, Ukraine, and Moldova. Its drainage basin extends into 9 more. Drainage basin. In addition to the bordering countries, the drainage basin includes parts of 9 more countries: Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Czech Republic, Slovenia, Montenegro, Switzerland, Italy, Poland, the Republic of Macedonia and Albania. The highest point of the drainage basin is the summit of Piz Bernina at the Italy-Switzerland border, 4,049 meters. Tributaries. The Danube's watershed extends into many other countries. Many Danubian tributaries are important rivers in their own right, navigable by barges and other shallow draft boats. From its source to its outlet into the Black Sea, its main tributaries are cities and towns. The Danube flows through many cities, including 4 national capitals, more than any other river in the world. Ordered from the source to the mouth they are: Germany, Donaueschingen in the state of Baden-Württemberg, Brigach and Breg rivers join to form the Danube River. Moringen and Donau in Baden-Württemberg, Tuttlingen in Baden-Württemberg, Sigmaringen in Baden-Württemberg, Riedlingen in Baden-Württemberg, Munderkingen in Baden-Württemberg, Engen in Baden-Württemberg, Ulm in Baden-Württemberg, Neu-Ulm in Bavaria, Günzburg in Bavaria, Dillingen and der Donau in Bavaria, Donauwörth in Bavaria, Neuburg and der Donau in Bavaria, Ingolstadt in Bavaria, Kelheim in Bavaria, Regensburg in Bavaria, Straubing in Bavaria, Deggendorf in Bavaria, Passau in Bavaria, Austria, Linz, capital of Upper Austria, Krems in Lower Austria, Thun in Lower Austria, Vienna, capital of Austria and the most populous city on the Danube, where the Danube floodplain is called the Lobau, though the inner stat is situated away from the main flow of the Danube. Slovakia, Bratislava, capital of Slovakia, Komárno-Sturovo, Hungary, Moson Magyar Vargyur Komarom Estigum Visegrad Vac Szentendre Dunakeszi, Budapest, capital of Hungary, the largest city and the largest agglomeration on Danube. Szent Miklós Százalombata Rakavadani Dunajveras Dunafold Varpax Kaloksa Baha Mohacs, Croatia, Vukovilik, Serbia, Apatin Balka Palanka Futog Vetanik Novi Sad Sremski Karlovci Zemun, Belgrade, capital of Serbia, Pančevo Smederevo Kovan Velikograd East, Golubak Donji Milanovic Kladovo, Bulgaria, Vidin Lomkos Lojui Oryahovo Nikopol Belin Svishta Vruz Tutrakan Silistra, Moldova Djurjulisti, Ukraine Vreni Ismail Kiliavikova, Romania, Moldova Nuorosova Drobita Turnu Severin Califat Beachet Abulani Korabia Turnu Magyula Zimni Shagia Gibraltarnita Kalaresia Fetesta Cernavoda, Haas over Brela Galatia, largest port on Danube is Axia Tulcea Salina, last city through which it flows. Islands: Adakala Island, Ostrovolmer, Gogosu, Baltarai Alamite, Berlin Island, Sea Sepal Island, Donorinsel, Great Brela Island, Great War Island, Island of Vukovar, Island of Sarangrad, Zikny Ostrov, Sajikos, Island of Szentendre, Margaret Island, Sea Sepal Island, Island of Mohacs, Ostrovulcio Canesti, Ostrovolmer, Islas, Ostrovo, Kozlodui Island, Rybarsko Ostrovo, Novi Sad, Vardam Island, sectioning upper section. From Spring to Devon Gate, Danube remains a characteristic mountain river until Passau, with average bottom gradient 0.0012%. From Passau to Devon Gate the gradient lessens to 0.0006%. Middle section. From Devon Gate to Iron Gate, the riverbed widens and the average bottom gradient becomes only 0.0006%. Lower section. From Iron Gate to Salina, with average gradient as little as 0.0003%. Modern navigation. The Danube is navigable by ocean ships from the Black Sea to Brela in Romania and by river ships to Kelheim, Bavaria, Germany. Smaller craft can navigate further upstream to Ulm, Württemberg, Germany. About 60 of its tributaries are also navigable. Since the completion of the German Rhine-Main-Danube Canal in 1992, the river has been part of a trans-European waterway from Rotterdam on the North Sea to Salina on the Black Sea, a distance of 3,500 kilometers. In 1994 the Danube was declared one of 10 pan-European transport corridors. Routes in Central and Eastern Europe that required major investment over the following 10 to 15 years. The amount of goods transported on the Danube increased to about 100 million tons in 1987. In 1999, transport on the river was made difficult by the NATO bombing of 3 bridges in Serbia during the Kosovo War. Clearance of the resulting debris was completed in 2002, and a temporary pontoon bridge that hampered navigation was removed in 2005. At the Iron Gate, the Danube flows through a gorge that forms part of the boundary between Serbia and Romania. It contains the Iron Gate High Hydroelectric Power Station, dam, followed at about 60 kilometers downstream by the Iron Gate 2 hydroelectric power station. On 13 April 2006, a record peak discharge at Iron Gate Dam reached 15,400 cubic meters per second. There are 3 artificial waterways built on the Danube. The Danube-Tisa-Danube Canal in the Banat-and-Bakka regions, the 64 km Danube-Black Sea Canal, between Cernavodă and Constanta finished in 1984, shortens the distance to the Black Sea by 400 km. The Rhine-Main-Danube Canal is about 171 km, finished in 1992, linking the North Sea to the Black Sea. Piracy. In 2010-12, shipping companies claimed that their vessels suffered from regular pirate attacks on the Serbian and Romanian stretches of the Danube. However, these transgressions may not be considered acts of piracy, as defined according to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, but rather instances of river robbery. On the other hand, media reports say the crews on transport ships often steal and sell their own cargo and then blame the plundering on pirates. And the alleged attacks are not piracy but small-time contraband theft that is taking place along the river. Danube Delta. The Danube Delta is the largest river delta in the European Union. The greater part of the Danube Delta lies in Romania, while its northern part, on the left bank of the Chilia arm, is situated in Ukraine. The approximate surface is 4,152 square kilometers, of which 3,446 square kilometers are in Romania, if one includes the lagoons of Razim-Sino, of which 865 square kilometers water surface, which are located south of the delta proper, but are related to it geologically and ecologically. The total area of the Danube Delta reaches 5,165 square kilometers. The Danube Delta is also the best preserved river delta in Europe, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a Ramsar Site. Its lakes and marshes support 45 freshwater fish species. Its wetlands support vast flocks of migratory birds of over 300 species, including the endangered pygmy cormorant. These are threatened by rival canalization and drainage schemes such as the Bystroy Canal. International cooperation. Ecology and environment. The International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River is an organization consisting of 14 member states and the European Union. The Commission, established in 1998, deals with the whole Danube River basin, which includes tributaries and the groundwater resources. Its goal is to implement the Danube River Protection Convention by promoting and coordinating sustainable and equitable water management, including conservation, improvement and rational use of waters and the implementation of the EU Water Framework Directive Navigation. The Danube Commission is concerned with the maintenance and improvement of the river's navigation conditions. It was established in 1948 by 7 countries bordering the river. Members include representatives from Austria, Bulgaria, Croatia, Germany, Hungary, Moldova, Slovakia, Romania, Russia, Ukraine, and Serbia. It meets regularly twice a year. It also convenes groups of experts to consider items provided for in the Commission's working plans. The Commission dates to the Paris Conferences of 1856 and 1921, which established for the first time an international regime to safeguard free navigation on the Danube. Today the Commission includes riparian and non-riparian states. Geology. Although the headwaters of the Danube are relatively small today, geologically, the Danube is much older than the Rhine, with which its catchment area competes in today's southern Germany. This has a few interesting geological complications, since the Rhine is the only river rising in the Alps mountains which flows north towards the North Sea. An invisible line beginning at Piz-Lungen divides large parts of southern Germany, which is sometimes referred to as the European watershed. Before the last ice age in the Pleistocene, the Rhine started at the southwestern tip of the Black Forest while the waters from the Alps that today feed the Rhine were carried east by the so-called Erdene. Parts of this ancient river's bed, which was much larger than today's Danube, can still be seen in canyons in today's landscape of the Swabian Alb. After the upper Rhine valley had been eroded, most waters from the Alps changed their direction and began feeding the Rhine. Today's upper Danube is but a meek reflection of the ancient one. Since the Swabian Alb is largely shaped of porous limestone, and since the Rhine's level is much lower than the Danube's, today subsurface rivers carry much water from the Danube to the Rhine. On many days in the summer, when the Danube carries little water, most of this water resurfaces only 12 kilometers south at the Archtopf, Germany's wellspring with the highest flow, an average of 8,500 liters per second, north of Lake Constance, thus feeding the Rhine. The European water divide applies only for those waters that pass beyond this point, and only during the days of the year when the Danube carries enough water to survive the sinkholes in the Donauversicherung. Since such large volumes of underground water erode much of the surrounding limestone, it is estimated that the Danube upper course will one day disappear entirely in favor of the Rhine, an event called stream capturing. The hydrological parameters of Danube are regularly monitored in Croatia at Batina, Dalj, Vukovar and Ilik. History. The Danube basin was the site of some of the earliest human cultures. The Danubian Neolithic cultures include the linear pottery cultures of the mid-Danube basin. Many sites of the 6th to 3rd millennium BC Vinca culture are sited along the Danube. The 3rd millennium BC Vucedol culture is famous for its ceramics. Darius the Great, king of Persia, crossed the river in the late 6th century BC in order to invade European Scythia and to subdue the Scythians. Alexander the Great defeated the Triballian king Simus and the northern barbarian Thracian and Illyrian tribes by advancing from Macedonia as far as the Danube in 336 BC. The river was one of the Roman Empire's limes Germanicus. The Romans often used the Danube as a northern border for their empire. Avars used the river as their southeastern border in the 6th century. Ancient cultural perspectives of the lower Danube part of the Danubius or Istros River was also known as the Okeanos in ancient times, being called the Okeanos Potamos. The lower Danube was also called the Keros Okeanoio in the Argonautica by Apollonius Rhodius. At the end of the Okeanos Potamos is the holy island of Alba, sacred to the Pelasgian Apollo, greeting the sun rising in the east. Hecate's Abderitas refers to Apollo's island from the region of the Hyperboreans, in the Okeanos. It was on Leuci, in one version of his legend, that the hero Achilles was buried. Old Romanian folk songs recount a white monastery on a white island with 9 priests. Ottoman-Hungarian and Ottoman-Habsburg rivalry along the Danube between the late 14th and late 19th centuries. The Ottoman Empire competed first with the Kingdom of Hungary and later with the Austrian Habsburgs for controlling the Danube, which formed the northern border of the Ottoman Empire for centuries. Many of the Ottoman-Hungarian wars and Ottoman-Habsburg wars were fought along the river. The most important wars of the Ottoman Empire along the Danube include the Battle of Nicopolish, the Battle of Mohacs, the First Turkish Siege of Vienna, the Siege of Estegum, the Long War, the Battle of Vienna, the Great Turkish War, the Crimean War and the Russo-Turkish War.